Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hello, good afternoon. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, please just
Yes, Abdul,
put your hand.
Mr. Abdul, I can hear you.
Oh, great, great. Okay, I thought I was speaking with myself. All right, thank you very much. Thank you for joining. We're just going to wait a bit for others to join. I think getting people dropping in now. Thank you very much. Um, So we're getting people streaming in. So thank you very much. We'll just be a bit patient. So just to get everyone in. Um, so just one moment. So while we're waiting, can we all just do? Can we all just signify where we are joining from? Are you able to just type in the chat box to say which city, which country are you joining from? What, Manchester? We're just neighbors. So we're in Leeds. Oh wow, Nigeria. Okay. I was in I was in Nigeria. Oh, we've got Leeds here. Just right across. Um keep it coming, please. So just want to understand where people are joining from, which cities. Have we got anyone from Canada? Okay, Edinburgh. Okay. Canada, US. Have we got anyone from Australia? Someone said Mars. Oh, I wish. I need to speak with Elon Musk. Right. Okay. Okay, just one moment. I'll just try and get people in. Just bear with me, please. Okay, without any further delay, I think we should just kick start the day. We've waited for 5 minutes. So I think I'm just gonna share my screen and then we move on. And thank you all for joining. And Abraham, please, if anyone, probably when I'm sharing my screen, I wouldn't be able to know who is joining, who is commenting. Please, if you need to stop me at any time, feel free to do that. Okay, and just just to check, Felicia, have you got the access to speak? Just let me just check quickly. So no, it's good I checked now. So let me just do that for you. And maybe sometime down the line, some people might want to say one or two things and all that. Please feel free to um, let me know. And if you just put in the chat box, if you prefer to ask your questions in person, then chatting. All right, thank you very much. I'm just going to share my screen now with everyone. All right, I believe everyone can see my screen now. Abraham, you're my eyes and ears, so.
Yes, I can see at my own end.
All right, great, great. Thank you very much. I presume everyone can see then. Okay. So welcome to the Career in Cybersecurity webinar. And I think we all have a shared interest in this particular webinar today. My name is Abdulrahman Akombi, and I'm the, will I say, coordinator for this particular webinar today. I'm also the CEO of SciComm Academy, SciComm Solutions. And what I'm just going to do is quickly introduce who we are, at least know who we are. And personally, I am a CISSP, which is the Certified Information Security Systems Information Security Professional. I am CISM, so Certified Information Security Manager, CC. So at least I've got a bit of knowledge in cybersecurity. Let me say that. And I run a company called CyberSecurity Solutions, which we have 4 distinct areas. So when I say I don't mean we've got a very big team that support with this, and we work together. So we do consulting, so cybersecurity consulting, resourcing. We have an academy, which is what is bringing us here together today, which we're going to talk more about. And we got where we call the SciComm Lab. So SciComm Lab is our research lab, which is a baby to one of our partners, which she will be talking later. And we've just scoped one of the awards in Yorkshire. So we're fast growing cybersecurity company in Yorkshire, and we got an award for Yorkshire Black Business Award, and that's for innovation and tech. And we have been shouting about this. We've been so excited that people are seeing what we're doing. And on the right-hand side here, we've got some partnerships. Some of them are education partners, and some are more of our consulting partners. And sorry, we didn't put the universities here as well for our SciComm labs, but so these are our partners. So within the training part, we are closely working with ISC Squared, which were our official training partner, and CompTIA, which we're delivery partners with them, Microsoft as well. So this is in regards to training. So a bit more about myself. I'm a graduate of University of Oxford. I just studied MSc Software and System Security, which actually pulled me into the world of cybersecurity fully. And I've worked with several banks, HSBC, Lloyds Bank, I've worked with Equifax. I've worked within the government space, academic space, delivering cybersecurity solutions. And I think what else do I need to say about myself? I'm going to share about myself now and just move on with this. Right. So so today, what the agenda for today is, we will be looking at just a bit of introduction into cybersecurity. My understanding is a lot of people are here because they want to understand what cybersecurity is all about, right? Is this the right field? Is this what I want to do? Or let me just hear what this guy's got to say, right? So we're going to share some insights, some roles and description, who is a cybersecurity analyst or consultant, what they do. We're going to share that. We're going to talk about some specializations. If you were with us the last time in March, we did discuss specializations on SOC. I think today we'll be doing something different. So we'll talk about the entry part into cybersecurity, career opportunities, the skills and certifications you need, and career roadmap. Then we have a session for Q&A, right? So I'm going to introduce our today's speakers. Well, that's myself. I've introduced myself. I think I did that too quick. I've got Felicia here who will be speaking, and she is a strong partner within SciComm. We've got Abraham Adeke, who is our chief trainer. He's very one of our top experienced people within SciComm. And we've got Kamal Lawal, which I'm not sure if he's on the call already um, because of the issue that happened yesterday. So he's busy fixing some things. And to talk about that, well, we can't even start this webinar without actually mentioning what happened yesterday. We had a lot of systems down. I think a lot of us might have tried to access our bank accounts, or some of us will have been at the airport and seen blue screens all around and flights cancelled. Or some of us might have been at your GP and you've been told that they can attend to you, or at the hospital. And there was a global meltdown, system meltdown yesterday, which wasn't directly a cyber issue. However, it is an indirect cyber issue because we now have a lot of cyber threat actors who are trying to leverage on this to hack organizations. So please be careful anywhere you are. And you can share a bit about what you know about the event yesterday. We might talk about it later if we have more time. All right. So, oh, sorry, before I move on. So what is cybersecurity? Right. That is that is the I think that's one of the easiest questions to ask and the most difficult questions as well, because if you don't know what it is and don't understand the context behind it, then it might be very hard for you to even know what you're jumping into and what you're doing, right? So I'm just going to read this out. I won't bore you. Reason why is because it's quoted. Cybersecurity refers to any technology, measure, or practice for preventing cyber attack or mitigating their impact. Cybersecurity aims to protect individuals and organizations, systems, applications, computing devices, sensitive data, and financial assets against simple and annoying computer viruses, sophisticated and costly ransomware attack, and everything in between. So, what are we talking about? We're trying to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of our data. Ensure that they are secured. Not just data of our assets as well. Either when they're there seated, or they're in transit, or at rest, or in any form. We have to ensure that only the right people have access to certain type of information, and that. So we're going to talk about a bit about that. There is this misconception about. I think a lot of people tend to ask this question. I think, and I've added this slide in to discuss a bit about it, which is the difference between cybersecurity and information security, right? I wish we have time and I could just tell somebody to or you guys to just type one or two things if you know. Do you know who knows the difference apart from me displaying this today? If you know this before now, right? Just give me a yes. All right, it's right in front of us, right? So, what is cybersecurity? We've talked about what cybersecurity is, although cybersecurity is a subset of information security. So, as we said, information security is the overall umbrella. Why cybersecurity focuses on protecting electronic devices and systems from cyber threats and safeguarding our data, network, technology, and you know, protects us from cyber attacks, malware, and unauthorized access. Compared to information security, where we're looking at if we know what information is, right, we're looking at more digital and analog information. And I mentioned earlier that we look to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. So this is more around the information security side of things, right? So we address unauthorized access, disclosure, and operational disruption. So now, yes, they are different, but if you go into the world of cybersecurity, you become these two people, right? Or these two roles, or these two personas. You become that. But I just thought to highlight the difference between them and as well, get us to at least just to understand what it is. All right. I could talk about a bit about more difference, but we cautious of time, I will move ahead. So now we are going into, if you joined us in March, you will have seen this. So far, we haven't had any updated copy of the cybersecurity workforce gap. So SciComm Academy is working towards closing this gap. So what we're talking about is there is a lot of need for cybersecurity consultants. So now it's at a record level, right? If you look at it, the global cybersecurity workforce has reached an all-time high of 5.5 million professionals. So marking an increase of 440,000 jobs compared to 2022. And in 2019, the workforce was estimated at 2.8 million. So this is a significant growth. So if we talk about demand and supply, right? So despite this expansion, the demand for skilled professional is still far exceeds the supply. So the supply is higher than the demand. And in 2023, the gap between supply and demand was estimated at 4 million, emphasizing the ongoing challenges of meeting industry need. So let's talk a bit about these skills in demand, right? So the areas with the highest workforce demand, so if you're looking at the highest workforce, which so we're looking at the Asia Pacific, the Middle East, Africa, North America, Europe, right? And some specific skills in demand include cloud security, AI, machine learning, and zero trust architecture. So it's not just cybersecurity that is booming. We have other areas if you want to explore, but today we'll talk more about cyber, right? So, so if we look at the economic picture, so notably, the notable countries rises include Japan, Spain, Holland, France, and the UK, right? I'm not sure why in this particular report they're not mentioning, right, the rise in the United States and Canada. So I think in the last 6 to 7 months, personally, I know I think I've seen some reports. So, however, this particular report does not capture that. Germany is now holding the now holds a position, number one position in the highest growth. So, with the event that happened yesterday, this is a clear signal that the need for cybersecurity is not going to reduce anytime soon. Cybersecurity professionals. Now, although it is a resilience issue, right, but it is an indirect cybersecurity risk, very, very high risk. So, any script kiddie could have run their script yesterday without CrowdStrike working, without the servers protecting the endpoint, could have successfully infiltrated some nodes and gotten sensitive information. So, and this is still ongoing. So, probably in the next weeks, next 2, 3 weeks, we're going to see a lot more reports coming out. So, which is why I think Kamal is not with us today. I'm not sure if he's joined, but he's busy fixing some cybersecurity issues. So, some more report here, just to talk a bit about the skill gaps. So if we look at it here, we have 50% of all UK businesses. So this is more UK labor market report. Sorry. I know we're joining from different places, but I've just picked UK as our use case. And so 50% of all UK businesses have basic cybersecurity skill gap, while 33% have an advanced cybersecurity skill gap. What just that means is 50% have the basic cybersecurity skill gap, while about 35% have more of expert level cybersecurity skill gap. So for those that are already in the industry, you know, they are, there is need for them. So these figures are similar to 2022 and 2021. So which means we're not really, it's not moving as much as the demand is coming, the supply, as much as we are providing the supply, the demand is increasing. That's what it's just saying. So we have an increase of 30% cybersecurity jobs from 2021, 2022. And as well, this part, the ladies in the house, please, as I'm not a lady, right? But let's give them a big, let's just give us a thumbs up or just put an emoji up, right? We have 17% female in this workforce within the cybersecurity space in the UK. 17% is, in fact, I see that as an opportunity for any lady to go into this field because the need, right, continues increasing for women in cyber. Right, as much as we push, we find out that we're still struggling to get a lot of women into cybersecurity. So, and we have there is an estimated shortfall of 11,200 people. To meet the cybersecurity workforce, and this we're talking about 2023 report, and I can tell you that this has increased, right? So the next slide, this is just some more talking about with the US. Just a bit to add here is just average salary for a cybersecurity staff in the US is 113,270 per year. And I think in the UK is, let me see, do we have that here? Okay, in the UK, just off my head, is about £55,000. And I think we're pushing for more, right? So I'm just going to go to the next one. Okay. So now, just to let you know, we have the cyber career framework. This is from the NCSC. So we have 16 specialist areas in cybersecurity. So if you're looking to get into cybersecurity, you have 16 doors to look at. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people find it hard to say, where do I start from? What do I do to actually get into cyber? And which is where we have, if you look at it, we have digital forensic, we have vulnerability management, we have incident response. A lot of this might sound like French, right? We have cybersecurity generalist. We have, so I'm just going to take a deep dive a bit into some of them, not all of them today, just so that we have some insight. Because if we go through all this today, then what's going to happen is we will definitely overshoot the time allocated. So a bit of this is today we'll be talking about some more of vulnerability management, which Kamal will run us through. We'll talk about cybersecurity governance, risk and management, and compliance. Those two will have a deep dive into them. The last time we did talk a lot about security operations and even did some demo. So if you're interested in that, I can always point you back to the recording. So so now going back to the top 5 cybersecurity skills sought after. So if you look at it, cloud security is the top. So there is a need because a lot of organizations are migrating into cloud. So this means that a lot of us have been involved in some digital transformation projects. A lot of organizations started that way to digitalize their um, processes and all that, and they've now migrated to the cloud. Some organizations are doing hybrid, which means 50% cloud, 50% on-prem. Now, once they've migrated to the cloud, they need to protect their asset. They need to apply cybersecurity to their asset or information security to their asset. So, which is where, and this need is really high. So another one is cyber threat intelligence. So understanding what is going on with your asset. You want to see the report, right? You want to understand where we're having problems. You want to understand if there is a hack, you want to see it. If there's potential hack, you want to know it, right? And we have malware analysis, which is trying to understand how malware work. I understand there are different systems that actually pick this up, like within your network, right? You're trying to understand malware, trying to detect malwares across your network, and we have secure system operations. So this ensuring that your systems are operating securely, and cybersecurity foundations. So foundations is the need. A lot of organizations need to reskill their existing staffs to understand what cybersecurity is and um, to be able to apply those knowledge within the organization. And that also applies to us at Psychom Academy. The people we train, right, and channel into this field will be ready to go into some foundational roles and as well intermediate roles. And I think we'll talk about that a lot more. So on the right hand side here, we talk about top roles to fill. So these are the skills, and if you look at this, cloud security is still top there. Cyber threat intelligence, which is security operations. So this is where you gather this intelligence at the security operations. Network security does a lot of malware analysis, software development, right? That's where you are ensuring that your systems are securely designed, right? So we have a lot of security architecture there, design, security by design. Then we have risk management, right? So if you want to see a lot more about this, want to read more about this, we've picked it up from one of a journal. I think it's the Fortinet 2023 Cybersecurity Skill Gap Global Research Report. Okay, so next here, this is one that actually takes a deep dive. into the roles, right? Deep dive into the roles. I'm happy to come back to these slides, right? When we've talked about the GRC. I'll give the permission. We'll talk about GRC, threat vulnerability management. Then we can come back. I think if you have more questions about specific roles, we'll come and discuss those roles, talk about what they do, how you can get into them as well. But I'll do a quick scan through, right? So a CISO, which is a Chief Information Security Officer, is usually the highest level executive within the cyber team in any organization. So, and we have the security analyst who is just going to be the normal security analyst, engineer, incident respondent, consultant. These are more of operation people. They respond to the threats, they respond to, the threats and implement security controls within organizations. There are some core differences among them, and we can always go through that. Then we have pen testers. Some people about hackers, right? So we have hackers. The hackers are the bad guys who will infiltrate your systems, your network without your permission, and they take things and go away. Now we have the good guys. So we're creating the good guys who are going to be the ethical hackers. They take permission to infiltrate your system and they provide reports to you to tell you, yes, we found this, we found that, right? So you need to fix it. So these are the good guys. So among the good guys, we have the blue team and the red team, which is the police and thief, right? The blue team is trying to protect the systems, while the red team is trying to break into the system. So the more they do that on your system, they kind of expose all the weaknesses, that a malicious attacker could actually say as well. Then we have security architect is someone that architects the security for an organization. So he looks at for example, what the solution architect does, the design, and he proposes a security solutions for that. So we have security administrator. We have SOC. Okay, yeah, this is an interesting one. We talked about it last time. Security Operations Center, I think a lot of you have seen in movies where you have so many screens and you see people sitting in front of large screens and someone pointing to say, oh yes, that's over there and all that, let's do this. At times, even with CCTVs and some kind of chats going up. So now that's what we call that place a Security Operations Center. And the people that work in there to monitor those screens, which means those screens are actually monitoring an organization's network and their assets. So those are called security operation analysts. And there are different tools that they use for that to do those monitoring. So we have what we call this is the last slide before I hand over to my sister Felicia. So if you're bored of listening to my voice, apologies. All right, so we've got what we call the identity and access management. These are this is the front line to your organization. So these are people that actually checks who comes in to your organization, who has access to access the resources within your organization, who is a new staff and what does a new staff need within the organization, and do they have enough access, within the organization. So just a quick summary about that. And we have the network guys that look at the network. We have the malware analyst. We have the cloud security engineer, which is a highly sought after area as well. Then we have the IoT specialist. And very soon, you still start hearing some buzz AI security analyst words. I didn't add that here, but AI is the next thing within cyber. It's actually happened now. They're using the technology for different things within the cybersecurity space. So here I've got, I will be handing over to Felicia. Samuel, and please introduce yourself, Felicia, and I'm just going to hand over to you. I'll control the slides from here if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
all right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Abdul. Can you hear me very well? Can we hear? Abdul, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, that's fine. Good. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Felicia Moidel Samuel. I'll be taking the section for cybersecurity, governance, risk, and compliance. Just to give an overview of what that particular what will I call it now, profession in cyber, what they do, what kind of skills you should be looking out or to. And I think one of the key things is, because this is an introductory webinar, I always like to stress the fact that we are aware that people might not be in the cyberspace, but we try to bring out the fact that you can use transferable skills from whatever it is that you're doing now. And this introduction will give you some opportunity to be able to say, okay, because I do this, I'll probably will be okay going into this particular area. And it's also based on your interest. Just a brief introduction. For me, my journey into cyber wasn't really direct. Straight out of uni, I did a lot of marketing. I worked in the call center. I've worked in retail, stocking up shelves, and then worked in the civil service where I was a clerk. And then finally got an opportunity to go into projects where they were delivering things that was related to IT. And I kind of like used all the skills that I have gotten from the different roles that I have done to be able to move into technology and then also move into cyber. So I think it is something that will be very good to actually note, because sometimes when we attend webinars like this and people talk about the antecedents, it looks as if, okay, these are privileged few. No, the door is open for everyone. Currently, I'm a cybersecurity professional in the industry. I currently lead the risk initiative, cyber risk initiative for the company that I work with. And then also in SciComm, I'm a non-executive director, and I look at new and emerging technologies. And also, I think Abdul mentioned it earlier, I'm currently working on setting up and maturing our SciComm lab, which would be a lab that would focus on industry-based research, especially in the AI space. I have my degree in mathematics, which was a long time ago, but I also have a master's in software and system security from the University of Oxford. I've got a lot of certifications that I don't want to even bother myself naming all of them, some in the cyberspace and some in the IT space. And I'm also very, very involved in empowering women in tech. And I do a lot of public speaking and coaching. Currently, apart from the SciComm labs that I'm setting up, I'm working towards my professional doctorates in the area of AI security. So I think one of the key things to note is we at SciComm try to make people understand that all these things are not rocket science. It's just based on your interest and how you want to build yourself. So I've got expertise in a lot of areas, apart from governance, risk, and compliance. Quite exposed in security principles, security by design, cloud security, um, security architecture, and business architecture relating to security space. So we'll try and bring all those information into what we're sharing. So I'll go forward. So Abdul, next slide, please. So I'm looking at governance, risks, and compliance. And this is one gray area that I know that Abdul flashed some slides and they were talking about top 10, top 5 jobs and stuff like that. And one of the areas that they actually flagged as a top 5 is the cyber risk area. But in organizations, cyber risk does not sit on its own. It sits in a what I'll call a relationship with governance and compliance. So in most organizations, whether you're looking at the cyber side or you're looking at the information security side, risk cyber risk usually sits within governance, risk, and compliance. And it's just as the definition goes, it's just the framework or set of practices that organizations implement to ensure effective management, oversight of their operations, risk, and compliance obligation. Now, GRC as it is, it's a very wide topic. So you have GRC that sits in finance, you have GRC that sits in operations, is the same ideology, the same method, the same practices. The only difference is that for cyber, you were focusing on cyber or information security related issues. Abdul, can we go to the next slide? Next slide, please, Abdul. Okay, cool. So cybersecurity GRC, what is it? It's, if you remember the definition I gave for GRC, cyber governance, risk, and compliance refers to the framework, processes, and practice organizations use to manage. This is where the definition fills into the area of specifics or area of specialization. So it's to manage and mitigate the risk associated with cybersecurity and ensure compliance with relevant regulations and industry standards. Just like any organization, any operations, or any other field, organizations are mandated to follow certain regulations. They are also mandated to follow certain industry standards. For cyber, I'm sure if you're looking at cyber rules, you would see things like ISO 27001, you would see NIST. And then when it comes to regulation, a lot of people have heard about GDPR, especially in the UK and in other places, is all around data protection regulations, card payment regulations. For every organization that collects card payment, there are regulations that they need to follow. All these things is what guides an organization that is operating in that space. So the governance bit is the bit that helps to direct that organization, to put in controls, to put in due diligence act. And these can be done in different ways. Of course, the risk element in it is in everything that we do. Even if you're running a house like myself, I've got a 16-year-old and a 9-year-old, handling the two set of people has its own risks. In everything that we do, there's risk. There are events that can be risk. And so for the risk element is the possible events that can either harm the organization or make the organization lose money or make it difficult for them to operate from. And when you're looking at it from a point of view of cyber, is what are those events that are cyber related that would prevent an organization from working normally or from operating normally. And then the compliance bit is the means for ensuring that the organization is using appropriate guidelines that are also consistent, and they are consistent and best practices. Organizations are learning from people's mistakes and building that into that. Now, the key thing is, from what we can see in this diagram, everything is customed to the organizational goal and their strategy and objectives. Now, all these things looks as if, it is one big definitions and grammar and grammar. But if I go to the next slide, I would kind of like drill down into what the governance element actually is. Now, from the governance, because we are talking about establishing a framework and process that guides the organization. So it involves this particular role, this particular area, because it has to do with strategy that integrates into organizational operations, and they are doing things to prevent, interruption of the different activities due to a cyber attack, like I initially said. This role entails people who can work in the space where they are defining roles, they are defining responsibilities, they are helping senior leaders make decisions, strategic decisions for the organization from a cyber perspective. And they are also working on, The UK government have got policies to manage different things. It's the same type of things. It's the same type of scenario we're talking about here. The governance guys are involved in looking at different frameworks and different regulations and different best practices, and they pull together the cybersecurity policies, the standards that the organization would need to follow, procedures, just to create guidelines. And then also they help different the different parts of the organization, units, directorates, whatever, based on what they are doing, they help them meet up with what their responsibilities are. And so you have the governance group organizing governance forums, organizing committees. It could be committees that will be looking at new projects that are coming in that need to showcase the fact that they are looking at security even as the new projects are coming in. You have governance guys that are working in mergers and acquisition, making sure that if two companies are coming together, their security posture or the way they carry out their security is aligned. So if, for instance, you have worked in roles that requires you to facilitate, to negotiate, to talk with people, to pull information together, to do some form of research, this can be something that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. This can be something that you're going to be looking into. The only difference is that you would now need to learn the cyber domain. It's just change of domain, which is something that Cycom Academy could also help you achieve. Next slide, please. So compliance, like I've mentioned, if, for instance, the governance guys have pulled together all the policies, standards, and all the stuff that is related to the organization, the compliance guys are the ones who help to ensure that all these things that have been pulled together, regulations, standards, information, are actually met. They are the ones who tick the box. Have we done this? Yes. Have we not done this? No. Why have we not done this? What time do we have for us to do this? So that's what is just as the name implies. So for instance, even I like to bring it to life. Even if you are a parent or you have people who you're responsible to, you will put rules and regulations. You can't, like my 16-year-old, anywhere he goes, he knows that he has to be at home by 9, and that if he knows that he's going to be outside more than 9 o'clock, it's a phone call to me to negotiate and to give the reasoning why he's going to be away for more than 9 o'clock. That is still compliance. And that is what the people who work in this space actually do. They are exposed to the regulations that is related to the company. Remember, I said it has to be within the company's operational space. So for instance, Abdul has worked in the bank for a very, very long time. I've never really worked in the bank, right? In the cyberspace. I've worked in financials, but not in the cyberspace. So Abdul will be exposed to certain regulations that is for the financial industry. I've worked in the civil service for a very long time, and I'm exposed to certain regulations that are specific to the industry, to the civil service. And I'm currently working in a telecom media space. So I'm very, very exposed to the regulations that are related to the media space. The reason why I'm stressing this is after your training and everything, and you want to do an industry-specific job application, these are the kind of things you need to note. What industry regulation is for this industry? And, all these things are just reading, reading to understand. And that will kind of give you an edge over every other person in that area, in that space. So in a nutshell, compliance are the guys who would understand what regulation, what standards have been written, what are the requirements that the organization needs to meet for them to be compliant. And they have processes to help them do that. So for the compliance space, if you are someone who loves to kind of like read, well, or acquire new, understanding of maybe documents, right? You would actually do very, very well in this area. Abdul, next slide. Okay, cybersecurity risk management. Just like risk management is a very broad topic. The methodology and the approach is still the same. If you are, for instance, going to drive from maybe Leeds to London and you're leaving at 9 o'clock, right? You probably would have assessed it that it will be less risky because at that time there would be maybe, and maybe it's a Wednesday evening. You probably be assessing it that it will be less risky because, you know, most people don't travel midweek. The M1, which is the highway that leads directly to London, would have street lights in certain areas. You have presence of what they call them, highway patrol, policemen. So you probably be driving, playing your music, sipping water, and you're good. So you would say the risk is low. You're always going to say, okay, what are the threats to this journey? What are the likelihood for those things to actually materialize? And based on that, you make an informed decision. It's the same thing with cyber risk. It probably will be different if I'm traveling in a different country. Maybe if I'm traveling in India, I probably have a different kind of assessment. Would the roads be as good as what I'm used to? Am I familiar here? We drive on the left-hand side, but the other, okay, I don't know if India drives on the right side. Can't remember. But you know, you do all those assessments and make an informed decision. It's the same thing with cybersecurity risk management. But in this case, because it's cyber or it's information, what you are assessing is your digital assets. When Abdul was explaining the difference between cyber and information, he was talking about certain devices, certain infrastructure. And in the information side, he was talking about information from this point of view, data and all those stuff. It's all the same thing when you're looking at the security risk aspect. You are going to be looking at identifying what is the main thing, the digital assets that would make the organization, that the organization has to run with, right? Is what we refer to as the crown jewels, the things that are very important to the organization. And you'll be reviewing, okay, what are the security measures that protect this particular crown jewel, right? And then you'll be looking at, okay, what solutions are there that is working that will continue using for it to work? And if so, what solutions are not there? And the solutions that are not there, or the things that are not there, how do we go about to, when we say mitigate, to reduce the exposure of this particular risk, which is an event happening? So in the risk space, there's a lot of analysis because you're bringing different information and different variations into analyzing the scenario, right? Sometimes there's a little bit of numerical analysis that needs to be done because sometimes you can have qualitative or quantitative aspect. In some aspects, some organizations calculate their risk based on money. There's a lot of math that goes into that. Some of them just calculate it based on just like matrices to say, is it high, is it low, blah, 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 and stuff like that. All these things, especially for most organizations, would already be established. So the only thing that you would be looking at if you're coming into this place is, are you someone who thinks outside the box, who don't just take one topic and just focus on it? Do you ask questions? Are you able to challenge things? And then also, the risk is like the summary of the work that the governance guys and the compliance guys are doing. Because if you are non-compliant to certain regulation, you are exposed to the risk. And so the risk guys will now come in, okay, if we are exposed to this risk, if we're exposed to this kind of thing, what would it cost the organization from a money point of view, from an operational point of view, as the case may be? In risk, you would be looking at, certain skills, but I've summarized it in the next slide. because the next slide summarizes everything that you would need. Well, not everything, at least a summary of what you would need if you're going to be in the governance, risk, and compliance space. Facilitation is quite key. For myself, I live and breathe risk, right? And you should be able to facilitate meetings with both senior stakeholders and the people who are in the field. The skills to, and of course we know the skills to talk to senior stakeholders, to facilitate a senior stakeholder meeting might be different from the skills that you are using to facilitate, like the people who are in the field. So having a good facilitation skills comes in here. Negotiation skills, because of course it's not set on stone, right? We have to be able to draw a line and help to introduce the balance, because sometimes you might find a risk which you think, oh, all heaven will break loose, but the money to fix that particular risk is better for us to get over with the risk entirely, or get over with the root cause of that risk entirely, forget about it and start a new one. And the people you're speaking to might not want to go down that route. So it's around, being able to do that negotiation skills. Research, of course. We all know, just like life, nothing is static. Everything is changing. The event of yesterday, which Abdul mentioned, which actually caused a lot of downtime for big organization, has now opened new doors for better understanding. So when you are in this space, you keep your ears very open to what is going on, and you learn from it. The research continues. So if you are someone who really, really likes to learn something new, really, really likes to gather information from different space, this is one thing that will be very good for you to consider. Then, of course, report writing, like every other place. I mean, if you have done, even if it's up to secondary school, you would have been exposed to one way or the other report writing. That comes in handy here, because even in the risk, the governance and compliance side of things, you are going to be presenting reports to both senior leaders or even the business units. Of course, communication, written and spoken. I think I always like to stress it. Telling somebody that what you're doing is risky it's not really good news, right? Especially if the risk is negative, because you've got positive risk. And so you have to be a very, very good communicator, right? You have to be someone who's able to pass on information in a very transparent and open way, and be very, very diplomatic. Then, of course, knowledge of the security frameworks, regulations, anything and this is where the domain knowledge comes into play, which probably, I think the from facilitation to communication would be innate skills, would be skills that, I mean, if you're above 20, you should have been exposed to these skills. So these are skills that probably you're not going to learn from anything. It's already there that you can transfer, right? It's the knowledge of cybersecurity frameworks, knowledge of network fundamentals, or just fundamental knowledge around cybersecurity is probably what you need to now pick up, which we try to do in some of the courses that we do with in Cycom Academy. Then from a certification point of view, there are lots of certifications out there, just depending on the individual. I've just picked out 3, right? The CC, which in my personal opinion is a very good introductory certification for anybody who wants to go into cyber, because it gives a thin cut across everything that they do in cyber. If you now want to specialize in the GRC space, there are 2, CGRC and then GRCP, which actually gives you an exposure to governance, risk, and compliance. I've got my own certification in C-Risk, which is something that is related to risk specifically, and controls, which is an area. And then also I do a lot of research in that space to keep myself up to speed. So I think for now, I'm hoping that I've been able to kind of like educate you on this particular area of cyber. If you have any questions, I think Abdul, I don't know how we're running it, if it is now or later, but I'm still on the call. You can pen your questions down until the time we'll take questions and answers. Abdul, thank you so much. And thank you for your time. Thank you guys for listening.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Felicia, for taking your time to explain the GRC aspect of things. All right. Even I have a question for you, but let's wait till the end, right? So I'm just going to bring in the next speaker, which is going to be Abraham Adeke. He will be looking into the vulnerability management side of things, and as well, he will introduce himself. All right, Abraham, I will hand over to you now.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abraham Adeke. So I am one of the instructors here with SECOM. Yes, taking off experience, I've worked in various sectors. I'm a CISSP holder, CGRC with IH Square. Yes, I have PMP, a bunch of other certification that I wouldn't like to mention here. But when you come to SECOM, we'll interact and we'll have enough time to talk. Yes, I have a strong engineering background with an MSc in information technology. So we will be looking at very interesting topic this morning. I think I will not talk much about myself, but let us look at the topic which we are going to consider today, which is vulnerability management. Now, let's start by defining what vulnerability is. We don't have time, so I'm on the fast lane. So when we talk of vulnerability, we are talking about weaknesses in a system or in an application or in our network or even within our building that will give attacker access to or unauthorized access to our resources. Now, imagine you are at home and you left your windows open and a burglar noticed it and take advantage of that particular open window. That is what we call a vulnerability. So now the burglar is now the threat actor. You leaving that window open, that particular spot, we call it a vulnerable spot. So in cybersecurity, vulnerability are just like those open windows in our digital system, network, and applications. So today we will explore how we can manage this vulnerability effectively to protect our organization at a high level because we don't have enough time. So what is vulnerability management? When we talk about vulnerability management, it is just a continuous, proactive, and automated process aimed at what? Securing our network and application. For instance, in our company, to regularly scan our network for vulnerabilities, ensuring we identify and address those security weaknesses before they are being exploited by the bad guys. Now, the purpose is here is to what? We identify, we access, we address those weaknesses to prevent attack and minimize potential damage. Now, let's move forward and look at why is it important for us to look at our weaknesses within an organization. Yes, Abdul, the next slide, please. Now, why is it? Okay, can you take it back a little bit? Sorry. Now, why is it important? Firstly, it protects us against threat by safeguarding against known and unknown vulnerabilities. As you work within organization know what they are vulnerable to, that they know there are unknown vulnerability. Now, when you are looking at vulnerability, think of it as your regular car maintenance. It protects you against threat. Now, your maintenance prevents your car from breakdown. For example, last year, our automated scan identified a critical vulnerability in our web server, which we patch it promptly. So why are we patching it? So that those bad guys will not have that time, they will not have that opportunity to leverage those weak spots within our environment. Now, vulnerability management is a continuous process. Now, let's go to the next slide. Most at times, we hardly distinguish the difference between a vulnerability and an assessment. Vulnerability. It is a proactive process, an ongoing process. While when you talk of an assessment, we are talking of vulnerability assessment. We are doing an on-spot check, a snapshot of our system. For example, our regular security audit once in a while, we do that to look at how things work within our organization. But when we are talking of a management process, it is a continuous process. Now, how does this work? First, for your vulnerability management to be effective, we employ various tools and solutions. Now, the core components of a robust vulnerability management program include your asset discovery. Yes, you start by identifying what assets do your organization have, how sensitive are those assets, how critical and valuable are those assets to your organization. The next stage is what? You use your vulnerability scanners. There are various vulnerability scanners ranging from Nexus, Qualys, Nmap, depending on what suits your organization's use case. Then next, after you identify those vulnerability, then you can go to patch management. Those patch management will keep your system up to date. Now, next is the configuration management, ensuring that devices are securely configured. We use configuration management tools to enforce security policies within our own organization. Now, taking of the SOC, which we discussed in the last webinar, we have our SIEM tools, considering our security information and event in real times. They do what they collect or aggregate logs from various locations and then present it in a view or in a format, in a screen. That is why you see people watching on the screen. That is the SIEM that does that. Correlate all those logs and then present it insight for us where we can spot where bad things are happening within our organization. Sometimes we can do what is known as penetration testing to identify which spot we hire external expertise to do that on our behalf, and then threat intelligence. So tracking and analyzing potential threat. In security, we call it a proactive approach. Rather than being reactive, we are being proactive. We subscribe to threat intelligence feed. We stay informed about the latest threat and that are targeting our industry. Now, there are a lot of talks about the CrowdStrike event. Some people are insinuating that is a cyber attack. While some people are saying, no, this is a configuration issue. But with time, we'll get to know. So keep your eyes out there, reading especially in science and other reputable sources, so that we will get the real information of what actually happened that caused that downtime of yesterday. Let's move on. Hello, Mr. Abdul. Yes, I've already touched on that on this particular segment. Now, like I did mention earlier. Hello. Hello. Okay, like I did mention, vulnerability management and vulnerability assessment, they are two different things. When do we call it an assessment, and when do we refer to it as a management? Now, a vulnerability management is just a continuous process looking into our infrastructure, spotting out those weak spots within our infrastructure. Now, when we are doing an assessment, in assessment, we are doing what? A one-time event that determines the risks within our infrastructure. That is the difference between an assessment and what? And a vulnerability management process. Now, when we are doing an assessment, think of it as of your annual security audit, where what? Those auditors will come in and check those weak spots within your organization. So that is the difference between an assessment. Now, within the security, we can say that a vulnerability management is a proactive approach, where an assessment, a vulnerability assessment is a reactive approach. These are two different terms. Now, let's proceed, please, to the next slide. Mr. Abdul, can you hear me? Or can anyone hear me there?
Yes, we can.
Hello? Okay, there's latency between the slides.
Yeah.
There's a bit of latency between the slide.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to go to the next slide? Or sorry, I was trying to assess this. Should I? Is it the slide you want or the next one?
Okay. Can you take it back a little bit, step back? Let me see. I think there was a latency between I and you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yes, we have taken this particular slide.
So there's the next one.
Yes. Now, there are different types of vulnerability. Vulnerabilities can occur either in software, that is bugs or flaw. Yes, just like we are saying that there was some people are insinuating that there is a C flaw, a memory flaw that affected that caused blue screen in most organizations. That is mostly, it affects most of the Windows system. So it can be a software bug or a flaw in an application. For instance, a bug in a project management software could allow an unauthorized user to access a confidential project data. It can either happen either in hardware, that is a physical flaw device. Example would be a flaw in your office router, maybe unpatched, or a vulnerable firmware within your organization router, or it can be a network vulnerability. Aside the network vulnerability, it can be human vulnerability, that is social engineering and human error. Social engineering is one of the interesting, we call it a low-tech attack that take advantage of human being. So in security, we say human beings are vulnerable. You cannot manipulate a machine, but it's very easy to manipulate humans, because humans, we always like to be careful when we want to do certain things. But then within the security, we have to patch that vulnerable aspect of that sense of helping everyone out there. I'm not telling you not to help anyone out there, but then you have to be careful, because this is one of the most successful attacks within the cyberspace. Now, it can be either a configuration vulnerability, that is a misconfiguration of system settings. For instance, your database server configured with default credentials could easily be accessed by what? The attacker. Let's go to the next slide. Now, this is the most interesting part. Now, you can see we have a life cycle from number 1 up to number 7. But now, in a practical real life scenario, there is one life cycle I call the life cycle level 0. And what is that level 0? That is where the paperwork is done. We call it the preparation and planning. In the preparation and planning, we do what is known as, we establish a clear framework. For example, we start by defining the scope of our vulnerability management program, and then assigning responsibility. What are the activities that we do at the planning stage? We do what is known as policy and procedure development. We do what is known as the stakeholder engagement. That is, we identify the stakeholder, including the IT, security, and compliance. That is what Felicia has been talking about, the business units, and ensuring involvement and support. Then, of course, the resource allocation. She did mention resource allocation. You determine the kind of resource needed for the vulnerability management, including personnel, tools, and budget. You define your baseline of that particular security. Then you start what? The discovery aspect. The discovery aspect is what? You conduct what? You create a full asset inventory. That is the level 1. Of what you have within your organization. So our IT team conduct regular scans to maintain an up-to-date inventory. So what are the key activities at level 1? At the level 1, we'll be doing what is known as asset discovery, network mapping, continuous monitoring. That is, we implement continuous monitoring to detect new device and then changes within our network. Then the step 2, we call it the vulnerability identification. Here we deploy all our automated tools that we agree on during the planning stage. within our infrastructure, we do things such as manual testing, which include penetration testing to identify vulnerabilities that using automated tools. Then we do what is known as a threat intelligence. I can't. If Abdul was speaking earlier on, he did mention of threat intelligence. Felicia was speaking; she did mention of threat intelligence. This is one of the another scope, an important scope within the cybersecurity. So you leverage the threat intelligence feed to stay informed about what the latest and emerging threat within the cyberspace. Now you do what the next stage, which is what stage 3. You do what is known as risk assessment and prioritization. Now you assess and prioritize your risks. Of course, not all risks are equal. Now what you do here, you do what is known as risk assessment. You prioritize you prioritize risk based criteria based on what? Based on how those assets are available to your organization. Now you do what is not as classification. Now you categorize your vulnerabilities based on severity. Now when you are dealing with SOX, we talk about CVS, that is common vulnerability scoring system. You categorize them, and then you categorize them based on how your organization value those assets. Then from your categorization, from your risk categorization, it will take us to what? To the remediation. Now, this is where we address those vulnerability. Our IT teams works on fixing and what? Most pressing vulnerability are assessed first. That is what you prioritize during the stage 3. Now, next, what are the activities that happen at the remediation stage? You do what is known as patch management. You do what is known as configuration changes, and you put in compensation control. Now, there are certain vulnerabilities that you will not be able to remediate. So what you need to do at that particular stage is to put in what is known as a compensating control. And when we talk about compensating control, it's a kind of a control that acts when the primary control fails to function. So we put in our compensating control. Now, next, we move to the stage 5, which is verification and validation. Now, ensuring that your remediation is effective at this particular stage, you have to do what? You have to verify the remediation action to know if we are successful, if those vulnerabilities are successfully addressed. Now, the meltdown that we are talking about, or the downtime that we are talking about, now there is a manual process being set out by CrowdStrike in cooperation with Microsoft on how we can reverse engineer the whole process so that those tools can work effectively. That is what we call what? Rollback. They are trying to roll back the system. They push in a configuration according to them for now, and that configuration caused that blue screen of death. We call it in security blue screen of death. Now we are doing what is known as a rollback, but not the rollback. We are doing it what? Manually. Now, when you do your remediation, when you conclude your remediation phase, you do what is known as what? Verification and revalidation. And what do you do at the verification and revalidation? You rescan your system. You validate. You do validation by testing every of the device to see how effectively they are working within your infrastructure. You do what is known as auditing and review. Now, another important aspect that Felicia did mention is what? Reporting and metrics. Now, after you might have done the remediation, you might have do your validation. Next is what? You have to report. Now, reporting, depending on your kind of audience, the kind of report you send to the executive is a different report entirely. The kind of report you share with your team is a different report entirely. But the most important thing, documenting and communicating result is very important in what? In vulnerability management lifecycle. We provide what? Regular report to stakeholder showing the effectiveness of what? Our vulnerability management process. Now, what are the activities? You do your report that I did mention, metric development, continuous improvement, and then communication is key in information security. Don't work alone. You have to work in collaboration with other teams within your organization. Next is what? Continuous improvement. In continuous improvement is just trying to enhance the process. You will sit with your team and look at what have we done wrong, What do we do right? Where can we improve? Which areas requires training? Which team require training? This is the particular stage we look at all of those things. So what you do what? Program review at this particular stage. Abdul, can we move to the next slide? Sorry, I'm just rushing because our time is already fast spent and we need to run down all these important topics. Now, what are the challenges? Now, vulnerability management isn't without its own challenges. Now, a small business might struggle to manage a vulnerability due to what? Its limited IT staff and budget. Now, for you to do this effectively, they must prioritize the most critical vulnerabilities and find different efficient ways to address it despite the organization constraint. Now, when you are addressing vulnerability, you have to look at what? The volumes of the vulnerability, that is numerous potential vulnerability to manage. For example, our vulnerabilities can often identify hundreds of vulnerability, which can be overwhelming. Right? Now, you have to look at what kind of resource your organization have to remediate that particular vulnerability. What are the evolving threat landscape? What are the complex environment that your organization works in? That is diverse and complex IT environment. Our IT environment include various device, operating system, and application. So each has its own vulnerability. So managing vulnerability comes with several challenges. The sheer volume of this potential vulnerability can be overwhelming. So limited resource make it difficult to address all this vulnerability. Then the threat landscape is constantly evolving, and the IT environment is often complex and diverse, which add difficulty. So we have to be careful when carrying out this particular endeavor. Now, next slide, please. Okay.
I think that's your last slide.
Okay, let me just recap that. Okay, thank you.
All right. Do you want me to go back?
No. Thank you.
All right. Okay. No, if you want to talk, okay. I'm just looking at time. We've got just thank you very much, Abraham. That was really, really intense. We have squeezed in almost a day's lectures into about 10 or 15 minutes, right? Well done. Thank you for that. And I hope we all got something out of this today. Well, so I'm just going to go through the next part of things. This is talking more about, okay, how do you get into cybersecurity? So I'm sure if you go online, there are different ways, different areas. People will tell you different things about cyber, how you could get into cyber. You probably must have gotten overwhelmed at this point. But what we do, Psychom Academy, we are here to help make this easy for you. So there's one very summary I use for what we do in Psychom Academy. Is a three buzzword. We train, we mentor, and we give work experience. So, which means we don't just train you and just let you go. So we mentor you, give you support, and the work experience gets your hands dirty, and you're able to, perform at the place of work. And this is why I said, why Psychom Academy? So I'm going to welcome you to Psychom Academy, your gateway to mastering cybersecurity. And as an authorized training partner for industry leaders like Microsoft, ISC Squared, and CompTIA, we provide comprehensive suite of cybersecurity training and programs tailored to cater to individual and businesses alike. So we look at businesses, we look at business to customer, business to business training as well. And so whether you're just starting or you're a veteran in this field, you're looking to enhance your skills, and from mid-level to advanced, or from entry level to mid, or you're just trying to get in, right? So we are able to help you with all your cybersecurity challenges. So we have designed some curriculums to actually meet the needs of entry level. So which means if you want to come into cybersecurity or get into cybersecurity, we've looked at things like holding your hands from as low as system fundamentals and network fundamentals, cybersecurity fundamentals. Then we take you into more intermediate level of cybersecurity, and at that intermediate level, we are happy for you to start applying for roles, and then you can upskill as well. So, like I said, we are authorized partners with the top guys in the cybersecurity world. We train, we mentor. Um, Something we're doing as well is that we're building a cybersecurity community. So, what we're trying to do is to have, for example, yeah, in the next 5 years, to have like 1,000 people, right? 1,000 might sound small, but you know, like 1,000 people, a community of 1,000 people that speak the same cybersecurity language, and we're controlling the market. So, which means 1,000 people that will never be out of work, and they are very good at what they do. We're controlling the market. This will mean that we are networked, and we know who is in a particular work. Our resourcing is about resourcing side of things that is able to place people into work. Our training is able to get people into that field and all that. So it's more of value than just quantity as to how many people do we train. No, we train you, and we advise that you remain within our community so that we can actually monitor your progress as well, right? So, and we're not charging you extra more for that. So, like I said, we have a customized program to suit your need, and we specialize you in a particular area in cybersecurity, right? So now we will talk about some of the courses we offer. I think we've got 3 minutes to go. We might actually spill from the normal 90 minutes, right? I might ask that you lend me some time, probably another additional 10 minutes if you can, right? So, and again, we've got the questions and answer sessions. So we have a program called the Cybersecurity Analyst. So this is a standard, this is our most popular program. So which is about, 3 to 4 months. We call it our standard 12 weeks program. And this actually takes you into it takes you up to the intermediate level of cybersecurity. So by the time you finish this program, you're not just going to be a foundation someone looking to just get into cyber. You will be able to apply for standard cybersecurity roles as well. Now it depends on your mindset, your attitude to learning, how much you're able to put in as well, and how much you're able to come back to us, and we give you feedback and all that. So I'm not going to go through all this at least, but I'll just let you know that we hold your hands from fundamentals up to the intermediate. So for you to go into more advanced level programs, that's where we start looking at this GRC specialist area. So at this bit, at the foundation, yes, you can apply for standard GRC roles, right? So, but at this bit, you'll be able to have advanced for more senior GRC roles, which is a GRC specialist. We have put hours here just to let you know how many hours is required for you to get into this. So we have the network security specialist as well, which is also a foundation level into intermediate level program. And this actually takes you, because it's a network security specialist, it's a full 3 month program, and it should take you in. We haven't put the hours here, sorry. I would like to apologize for that, but I think it should be around the same 40 hours mark. Now, the cloud security architect role is another big role, and I think a lot of us will have heard about this. These guys are making a lot in the market, and it's the certification that comes with that is the CCSP, is the Cloud Certified Security Specialist exam, which is provided by ISC Squared, and that is also, I think, about 60 hours program, and that takes you through some foundational level program and intermediate and advanced. So that's a 6 months program. And we have ethical hacking is another one. So we talked about ethical hackers, if you remember, as part of those highly demanded roles as well. That's pen testers. We talked about cloud security. So this is a 40 hours. And this is the topmost role, which is the cybersecurity leadership. If you heard me talk about things like CISO, CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, or just high-level security roles, yeah, this is we call it cybersecurity leadership roles or cybersecurity management roles, right? So these are we do train for that as well, and we take you through the CISSP exams. So just so that you know, right, for each of our program, we follow the same path, right? And the first thing first, which is the foundation of everything, is your mindset, right? So mindset is everything. If you've got the cybersecurity mindset, you're really into it, you want to learn it, right? You're able to put that time into it. We're happy to, the training sits on it easily. So when we train you, right, it's going to be a lot more theoretical and hands-on. You do a lot of hands-on theoretical training. Then you go into more of the hands-on work experience, project-based, on August, between August 12th and 16th, we will be having a lot of our students coming to our Leeds office for the week hands-on training. So this is where they will get to do a lot of, playing with the systems, seeing logs, seeing how things are done in real life, right? Seeing real life systems, apart from them seeing it online like we do virtually. Then mentorship is one of the key backbone of what we do, right? You need to have someone that has done this to tell you how it's been done, right? To tell you how you can, your day one at work, right? What your expectations and how you can manage even your stress level at work. So all these things, you have your mentor that will help you within your specialized area. Then we have job and employment support. So this is what we're saying, that so once you finish your training, right? We do the work experience, we do all that mentorship, then we do CV reviews, and we work with you to build a CV, right? And we target particular roles. And if you're able to get an interview, what we do is we sit with you and prep you for your interview, right? And you find out that most of the things we're prepping you for, they're things you already know, but we're just reminding you to say, remember this topic, this is what we did, remember this project, this is what you did. Tell them about your project, right? You'll be fine. And we now have what's called the post-job support. Now, what we try to do is we ensure you don't give us any personal, any sensitive information within your organization. We always call that out, and you can ask us for support in just broadly in a way that we can support you in your work without you disclosing any sensitive or organizational data. So we just try to ensure we give you the right support to keep your job. So that is what we do. And just before I go on to the next slide, I would like to call on one of our, because of time, I will only call one person now, right? Just to quickly, just give us a brief about his journey with us, with SciComm. So, and this will be Andrew. Please, I'm not sure. I know Andrew. Yeah. Well, I'll let you pick the mic, right?
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me, Abdul?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see you again, Abdul. It's been a while seeing you on the screen, and it was nice again to see Felicia, my madam at the top. Anyway, my name is Andrew, and I was okay. When did I? Yeah, I was introduced to SciComm at the beginning of last year. A friend of mine, I was looking at cybersecurity training, and someone told me about SciComm, and I said, okay. He gave me Abdul's number, and the first thing I did, I sent him a message, and I think within 30 minutes or thereabout, I got a reply back. I said, okay, this is interesting. So yeah, we scheduled a call for the following day, and yeah, we spoke, and because I had done some background research as to what I was looking for. Some areas were clear, some areas were not clear. So I had all my questions written out for him because I knew what I was looking for. And yeah, he broke down all what they had to offer. And I was impressed. I think at the end of the week, I made payment, and he said training was going to start in May. That was supposed to be 12 weeks. And it gave me the syllabus, everything that was going to be covered. We're going to have access to a CompTIA platform that was modeled towards towards achieving the Security Plus certification. And by then, I had done the CC certification, so I had some basic knowledge, but I knew that was not enough to get me to what I was looking for. Hello?
No, it's okay. Sorry. Yeah, Andrew, you can continue. I think we've lost you.
He's on mute, Abdul. See if you can unmute him.
Oh, okay, 1 second. Did
Okay.
I?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I don't know where. Yeah, where did I stop? Or where? What point did you lose me?
No, I think we lost you when you've done your CC and you kind of knew what you wanted.
Yeah, so the course started in May, like I said, and we had facilitators taking us through the CompTIA syllabus, following the CompTIA syllabus for the Security Plus certification, and other areas were being covered, particularly when it comes to questions that were related to hands-on experience. Because what I can tell you about SciComm is all the people that were brought in, even after I had completed the course, and I was trying to, have preparation towards interviews and all that. All the people that were brought in that I spoke to were people that had experience in the industry, wide areas from the GRC sector to the technical areas. All of them had years of experience. I can tell you that for sure. And it was really helpful because there's one thing to just learn the academic aspect of things and say, oh, this is this, this is this, this is this. And there's the other part to tell you, look, while you're on the job, this is what to expect. This is what you face. This is how to go about it, and which is very important because eventually when I got a job, it wasn't much of, oh, this is what a firewall does, or this is what this protocol is. No, it's expected that you know those things, but how you apply it or how you go about solving a problem with that knowledge is very important. And these are some of the things that you get from SciComm. And yeah, like I said, the whole training was very, 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 very helpful. And it's even prolonged beyond the 12 weeks, mainly because they brought in some people to help to expose us to other areas that were not initially included in the 12-week training. I think that was when we were introduced to Felicia, and she opened up the world of GRC to a lot of us. And I'm still interested, Felicia. I've not abandoned it though. It's just that I want to understand all these technical areas, because personally I feel to function well in the GRC area, you need to know the technical areas well, so that when somebody's telling you, or when you're doing auditing somewhere, or you're writing compliance, or you're doing the compliance things, or you're doing all this guideline, whatever, you need to know what you're talking about, and not just nodding your head at a meeting. So anyway, that's my own personal take to it. Other people might have different opinion. Yeah, so that's much of what I can say. I started applying at the end of October, and yeah, Abdul was very helpful in arranging meetings with people to help. I won't lie, I just wanted to get into cyber. So I was looking at GRC, and I was looking at the technical areas, particularly SOC. So he was patient enough to get me to speak to SOC people. And when I disturb him, or when I see jobs for GRC, he will arrange calls with someone from the GRC area. He was very patient with me with that, because I won't lie, I was a bit desperate. So, but yeah, that was a big selling point for them, and I would really, really recommend SciComm for that. But at the end of it all, I think I got offer in November to start in January. And yeah, I got myself into one of the MSPs, and yeah, I'm still there. I should be rounding up probation period at the end of this month. And so far, it's been a wonderful journey. So yeah, I can tell you, for me, the whole thing started in May with SciComm, and by November, yeah, I had gotten an offer. I had gotten one before then, but we couldn't conclude on pricing and all that. And they said they found somebody else anyway. But yeah, eventually I got this one with this MSP, and with them I'm really learning a lot. And I'm still gonna be I think I spoke with him last week about the next step, because I think I'm getting to a point where I think I'm getting tired of the SOC thing, and I want to move to something else that is paying more. So he said, yeah, we should talk next week. So yeah, we'll be having that discussion. But yeah, I have no regrets so far with SciComm. So far, 2 certifications under my belt. Depending on where else I go, I'll decide on whatever certifications I'll be chasing again. So I wish you all the best, and I hope you at the end of this session, you'll be signing up with SciComm and having this kind of testimonial, maybe next year or whatever, when SciComm is putting on this kind of session again for other people. So thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you for your honest feedback. I think you just said it the way everything happened, and it was just replaying in my head when you called. I was actually in the car, and we spoke, and we're here now. And don't worry, you're not going to be bored for too long. And I think we're recommending some other areas for you that you will be interested in, so that you can get the top senior roles. And I remember your first role as well. I think we asked for too much, right? And they probably got someone. But anyways, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Abdul, we have a question in the chat box.
Oh, all right.
Maybe
Sorry.
we could address it. And then before you
Okay.
you check the chat box, now most of them have fears that where am I going to start? I don't have my bet. How will I start with the cybersecurity role? When you come to SciComm, we'll tell you how you can navigate that waters. Just like Andrew is speaking, we know how to navigate those waters. We'll tell you what to do and how you can get those experience, and then not only getting those experience, but proving those experience to employers out there. That is one thing we can guarantee.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do just before okay, yeah, let me just take some of the questions. So someone asks, what is the stat for numbers trained in SciComm, numbers of placements through your community? So if I look at it, in the past 1 year, is it a year and a half? We've trained approximately, let's say, I think to about 20%. So 20% of the people that we've trained. And as well, we have quite a number of people. The economy has been a bit slow. We've got quite a lot of people that are ready to get into the industry at the moment, and they're coming for that work experience program, which is going to be August 12th. And after the work experience program, we will be encouraging them to get into the market. So, and somebody did ask, please, can you give us the details of registration? Yes, I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that probably on the next slide. So can I just share them so that we can round up and get more questions? So, and without flashing so much in front of you, but if you do a search today, now there are different, we talked about information security analysts and cybersecurity analysts, right? So some people actually use information security analyst as the job role, which means you'll be doing the full job of everything. And some people call it cybersecurity analyst as an information security analyst. So please don't worry when you're doing the search, just search both so that you don't lose out, right? In particular roles, some of them call it information security analyst. So do the both search. So what this I'm trying to display with this is from I think JobServe, and we've done a search to see what are cybersecurity roles out there, right? We can see that you can either become a cybersecurity project manager. You don't have to be a cybersecurity core analyst, or you could be a cybersecurity project manager. You can become a cybersecurity business analyst, right? So there are other roles you can actually apply for with the knowledge you gain, right? So, and the average, like I said, the average kind in the UK, and I might be wrong, it might even be more than, I usually say it's about 55,000, but you could ask for, up to, we've got people that have been on 65,000, that got 65,000 roles, right? And there's some jobs that at this 520 per day, different up to some of them are as low as 45, 40,000, right? So one thing I want to add to this is, and I say this, a lot of people, there's been within the last 2 years, there's been this influx of us into the UK, and I'm so impressed by the level of expertise, the level of knowledge a lot of um, people are coming into the UK with, like myself. So some people are masters, some people are have doctorate, some people even have all these qualifications. And what I really don't want to happen is for us to get stuck in some jobs that will really kind of kill our career or delay, our career going forward. And some of the rules that are in place right now are actually doing that, which is, I think they've put it as 38,000 for sponsorship and all those things. Now, one of the jobs that can give you, easily pay you over 38,000 is cybersecurity, right? As a starting salary. So it is an easier path for you to even ask for sponsorship, from any employer, right? So this is just an additional advice. So if you're looking at areas to really expand and say, okay, I really want to stay in the UK going forward, cybersecurity is one area. IoT, the tech area is an area you can leverage on. So I think this is going to be my last slide, which is this one, right? This is the biggest slide, right? Which I want to talk about. Now I'm now doing the proper sales call now for everyone, right? So what we're doing is we're saying register today for a big discount. So if you're registering, if you signify your interest today and say, I want to do this, right? And we are happy to drop it 40% discount. I know the existing students are going to shout. They're going to probably want to cut my head off, right? And 40% discount. We currently charge 1799. And I think we sat down to review. We sat down to review and we realized that, there is a we started to review and we realized that the economy is really down and we needed to drop our price a bit, not because of quality. We don't drop our price to drop quality. Our competitors are charging over £8,000, for this £5,000 for the same thing we're doing, and we're doing it better, right? So what we're doing today is to drop the price to for you to pay 1,259, and we're happy to discuss instrumental payment as well with you. And remember, we talked about training, mentorship, and work experience, and the support. So remember, you're not just getting training. There is a support. There is a community around this. And what you can do today, if you go on to and the program we're promoting for this is the Cybersecurity Analyst Program, right? If you've seen any other of our programs that you want to register for, please just fill out the forms and just let us know the particular program, and I will apply that 40% discount rate as well, right? So if you go to Academy, which I'm just going to put in the chat box, and you will be able to see our form, and you'll be able to register just with your name and the program. Just drop a note for us to say, yeah, you want to register for the program. So, and I think that is it for today. So we've got question and answers. So please let me know if you want me to unmute your mic to talk, or you can just tell us in.
I think Dami is requesting for her mic or his mic to be open in the chat box. And then there's one interesting question there. Somebody is asking, please, does cybersecurity require any educational qualification, maybe NC, BSc degree before starting?
Good, very good question. And at the moment, what we are doing, as much as I'm not against the traditional educational system, right? But what we are trying to do is that from when you finish secondary school, right, we want you to be able to get into the field of cybersecurity. This is our dream, to say the traditional education system transition into more of a work experience based system, right? So please, so to turn into a work experience based system. So, and you don't require to have a BSc, you don't require to have that, but if you have it, it is a plus, for you. But if you don't, we've had students that have finished waiting to get into university, that have come through us, and they've done the program, and then they're going into uni to study cybersecurity. So it's just gonna make it easier for them when they're there, and we're still here to what do you call it? To support them throughout their journey in school as well. So I'm gonna open the mic for Dami to speak. So Dami, can okay, so oh, so I've just opened the mic. Is it there, Dami? Okay. I don't think he's there anymore. So yep, thank you. So any more question? Anybody else who wants because I can't really
Can
see.
I just add to what you've just said, especially from the industry point of view? I currently work with about 3 directors who did not see the four walls of a university. And they are all directors in cybersecurity, one area or the other. So I think like it's not going against any form of academics. If you're an academician, you can continue being an academician, but I don't think it's a deterring factor to getting into the work space or getting into cybersecurity as an industry.
Thank you. I think same. Most of my directors within the banking sector, you're surprised, they've only just finished college and then they've worked their way through, right? And they're so good within that. So somebody asks, thank you very much, Felicia. Thank you very much, Stanley.
Abdul.
Sorry,
Mr. Abdul, somebody's asking in the chat box.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat box now, right? So
okay.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. You want to say something?
I wanted to read the question for you. So I say the person is asking, tell me what is asking, please, what is the language that is required for cybersecurity? I don't know if I'm asking the right question.
Okay.
Is he referring to programming language?
Exactly.
Or just spoken language?
Maybe we should give the person the mic so that we'll understand the person's requirement better.
Tomiwa, would you like to speak, or I could take it from both sides when if it's in regards to normal language or programming language, I just answer both. But would you like to speak? If not, all right. While she's oh, sorry. Oh, good. Let me unmute your mic for you. Let's see. Yeah, your mic, you can unmute now, Tomiwa. Hello? Yeah, I've unmuted your mic, Tomiwa, if you... All right, while we're waiting for Tomiwa to unmute, right? So if it's programming language, I normally say, right, as much as people talk about you need to understand programming, you need to have programming to get into cybersecurity, it's not always the case. Yes, there are some areas that, the programming will help you understand how to automate things, right? And but most, oh, good, Tomiwa, thank you. We can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Hello, good morning. Sorry, it's afternoon here. Good afternoon. Thank you for the time.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for most of the clarification from Felicia and Abdul as well too. So my question is based on, I'm into Python programming. So, and for a full stack developer, there are some certain unnecessary language that you need to know. But recent I have the aspiration to go into cybersecurity as my master's program. So that's why I really want to know. I'm actually a novice in this field. So I just want to know what are the necessary requirements of language that is expected of me to learn. Thank you.
If it's related to your master's, it depends on the different universities. Surely, I can give you some response to that because I currently sit on the advisory board. I think it's myself and Abdul. Anyway, Abdul lectures. I sit on the advisory board for Access University on their cybersecurity master's and undergraduate program and stuff like that. And Abdul also does some lectures there. And most of the time, I see that they're tilting they're tilting towards Python programming for most of their internal or whatever programming, cyber-related programming. So, and also in the industry, there's also a large appetite for Python. So if you are already in that Python space, I would say you are in a good space. Another thing is that some of the programming languages that used to exist is becoming very obsolete. Like I know that .NET, a lot of people are moving away from .NET right now. Now I'm not against it, but a lot of people are moving away from .NET, and you would have most people doing the being in the Java space and the JavaScript space across board. So additional might be Java and JavaScript because you are full stack, front and back. But you are in a good space if you're already catching up with the Python one, because I know that a lot of organizations are moving towards Python. Abdul, in the bank, because they are very, very old school in their development, what are you seeing? But I know that in academics, it's usually Java and Python. What are you seeing in the financial space?
Yeah, well, within the financial space, which is normal, well, for everywhere as well, is the standard JavaScript, Python. Those are the key ones. However, these are only required for specific, for example, automation. So when you, I think Rashid was, he typed out something that was spot on as well, right? And it is when you want to kind of automate things, you want to some jobs and all that to reduce a lot of manual processes. So, and that's especially when you're looking at some pen testers, a lot of pen testers do that. So if you're in some specific areas of cybersecurity, yes, you do need that programming knowledge to excel. If you're using things like, in fact, if you're a Microsoft person, Microsoft has now, what they've done is they're able to embed your Python. However, they use a specific language called KQL for the automation of, and querying the security incident event management system. So there are different areas, there are different ways you need it. But as far like Felicia said, if you're looking at the university based on university, so depending, they're going to throw a lot to you, right? And you will do, right? Probably a lot of it might not be necessary in the industry by the time you come out, but in the industry at the moment, yes, if you have JavaScript, Python, I think that's fine for you. We've got Toby Wise. You've still got your hands up. Please go ahead.
Hello, Mr. Abdul.
Yes.
For me, I would say he's on the advantage side for him knowing programming side, because there are several things he can do with that Python he has within the cyber security space. But when he comes in, we will tell him how he can leverage that, because I would say he's on the advantage side. He may decide to work within the software security aspect to maintaining security, which will give an edge over so many other people that are within the cyber space. So
Yeah.
You just need somebody that will guide you on that on a particular niche that you can you can work on and then become an expert in that particular area you are talking about. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's absolutely spot on. They've got roles that they call security consultants, security specialists, that also even lead to security architects. Having a programming background would help you. These guys support development. And so because you have a programming background, you can actually go into that space. The only advantage they have is that they have domain knowledge in security. Then you also have companies that are building security products for organizations. The likes of CrowdStrike, Splunk, and all those things, those are software that they also need security. They need programmers, but are programmers from a security point of view. And there are also people who write cryptographic protocols for different what are they calling it, firms. So like Abraham said, it's going to be a deep dive, and the roles are going to be specific to your area of interest, and also your background knowledge.
All right, thank you very much. Any more? I know I'm just cautious. It's already 2:05, so we need to let people go and enjoy the weather, right? The lovely weather. All right. Any more questions? Any more clarifications? Otherwise, I can leave my number, or I can leave our number in the chat box, and just go to hold on.
I think Abdul, you should give one of our students, maybe Rashid is here, should talk them through. He was a novice too in this field, and he's taking that baby step. I think maybe you can give him a minute or so. I saw Sunday here, but I think he's no longer the baby because of the downtime. Maybe he can talk them through what we do here, how we take people who are novice to what they need to become strong within the field.
All right. Rashid, would you like to? I'm cautious of time, right? But Rashid, would you like to talk? Okay. I think I can see a question here. Please, I really want to learn more about cybersecurity, but I don't have the IT background, so I will need a lot of push and drive just to bear with me as I really want to learn. Yes, exactly. This is very, very good. Most people that we have joining are people that are novice in the area of cyber. They don't have any cybersecurity background. So what we do, if I go back, I think about 2 slides, right? And what we do is we take you through this. Oh, where you? So we take you through these fundamentals, right? So system and networking fundamentals. So we try to get you to learn that. We provide all the materials to you, right? And um, we go into the cloud basic security basics, cybersecurity analysis foundation. We'll take you through that, and then we start going into deeper things. So, but what we do is that we give you enough prerequisite, like the background, for you to get into cyber. So you shouldn't be scared. We have a lot of people like you that have come through us, and some of them are currently working.
Who are also like you, because if you say you have a lot of people who are coming, like it's good to actually stress that we were also like you one time. So I mean, it's no rocket science, isn't it?
That's in cybersecurity, yeah.
Yeah, in cybersecurity.
Yeah. So, is there any more questions? Okay, I think someone just dropped something in here. Thanks so much. Okay. So, any more questions? If no more questions, I will be glad to release everyone back to their daily activities, unless if any other student wants to share anything, if they want to share their experience, I'm happy for you to give your honest feedback as to what you're going through with SciComm. Otherwise, thank you very much.
There is a question in the chat box, Abdul.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
also, one of the speakers made mention of the AI going along with cyberspace. Yeah, I hope it's going to be the center of the stage later on its future. Everyone is running around AI. Some people, in fact, a lot of people don't even know what AI is. Like a lot of directors, a lot of executives don't even. They just play around AI. They just jump in, following the trend, right? However, AI is. I'm not saying I know much about it as well, but with the research we're doing, and as well with the tools we've used, around cybersecurity, AI in cybersecurity, is really helping the security operations and area. Is helping us to generate very good insights, predictive analysis, like trying to talk about predict where you could be hacked, within your organization. So, so it does a lot. It reads your environment and does a lot. So within your security incident and event management tools like the Splunk, Microsoft, sorry, Splunk, what's the other one again? Sentinel, right? They're really embedding the AI technology, like to work with. So which is where the SOA is being born, which is the security orchestration automation response, right? That's born from that, where threats have been automatically responded to and all that. But anyway, so not to go too technical, AI is here to stay. Are you able to please share the other courses around the network security specialist course, please? Okay, so what do you mean? We do have the network security specialist program, and that is on the back of the CompTIA Network Security Plus. And because the CompTIA program is not vendor agnostic, so we from our side, we bring in that industry knowledge, right, into whatever we're doing to ensure that you understand networking from a work-based perspective. So, but the core model you'll be looking at is Network Plus, right? I don't know if that answers your question, Janet. Yeah, so we have to. It's just hilarious how the AI is becoming a substitute to humans.
It's not becoming. It's not becoming.
It's not becoming.
It's
If
not.
not,
I like that.
Not.
it's not
Abdul
becoming.
have said the good side of it. From my own point of view, is exposing companies to more cyber risk.
Vulnerabilities.
But that's a story for another day. And if we tie it down to the research and what we're currently doing with the university, is to help provide that leverage for companies who are adopting this new technology to be able to follow a certain framework that will help them at least reduce their risk exposure. But it's never, ever going to replace human, in my personal opinion. But we can have a webinar for another one where myself and Abdul can debate about it.
Okay. We can take a case study of yesterday. If AI could have done it smartly, they would have used AI to curtail that issue. But why are we doing it manually? Humans are involved.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. If we talk about this AI, we're gonna stay here all day, right? So someone asked a question, and thank you, Stanley. I think that's a good one. And how are you gonna structure the payment plan, and what date is the next class? Kick it off. Oh my God, I missed out a very, very important information. Our next class starts on the 3rd of August. So exactly 2 weeks from today, right? The payment structure is, at least what we try to do is to get you to pay 50% upfront, right? And then we spread the remaining payment into two. But what we're trying to do, we'll do maximum three times payment. So you pay 3 times over 3 months. So that's what we try to, just to make it easy for everyone as well. Yeah, someone said yes, because you're feeding AI information with information. Yes. Well, anyways, I like to debate AI, and thank you very much, everyone. If there's no more questions, I would like to close this call just to give people time back. Okay, Stanley, please, I will send the account number to you. Yeah, my number is here. Please just take my. Yep.
Yes, another important question there. Is there any chance for a mentorship for handicap like me, please?
What do you mean by
Abdul,
handicap?
no, hold on. we could, let's take this offline because of privacy, right? I think I'm happy for us to discuss it. If you take the person's details that has spoken to you, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm an advocate for being able for us to be
Listen.
very diverse with that. So if you take
Mm.
that, I think it's better for us to discuss that privately, if that's okay.
Yeah,
Huh?
thank you very much, Felicia. Tomiwa, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me. I've got Felicia, I've got Abraham, but you can reach out to any of us, and we will discuss that going forward. Right. So, thank you very much, everyone, and I really appreciate your time.
Mr. Abdul, you have not responded to Stanley.
Oh, what was the
He said
question?
the account, please. That is fine.
Oh
Account,
yeah.
please. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what Felicia responded to, that we take it out privately. Yeah, and
Okay.
Mr. Stanley,
No,
yeah,
it wasn't the account, it was the support for the additional support for disability I was mentioning.
okay.
Yeah. So you can put the account. I just feel that should be something that we should discuss with the person privately.
Okay then. Okay, let me do this. So, Mr. Stanley, can you send me a message on here, please, on this number? Where's the name? I think I've put my number here. Yep. Yeah, so this number is on WhatsApp as well. All right, please just drop me a quick message and I will respond immediately. All right. And oh yeah, thank you. I've seen your message. Yeah, thank you very much. I will just send that to you now. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for your time, and have a lovely, lovely Saturday afternoon. Let's see. Yeah, the weather is still nice. We've still got some barbecues to catch up with. All right.
Thank you all. Bye.
All right. Bye now.